rare and balanced view on politics in today's world. Based on facts, born of rationality, common sense, and logic, providing context on today's events, this is American Perspective with Rick Thomas.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to American Perspective. I am your host, Rick. Ooh, it's a little noisy in here. Turn that down just a tad. That should be clear for all of y'all, I think. Just a little noisy in the studio because of all the fans going. You know, it's cold, or it's hot, but I'm trying to cool down. Anyway, I know, all of my Florida folks are going to be like, 80 degrees, man, that's sweater weather. Yeah, around here, though, it's shorts and T-shirts for sure. Yeah. Boo, whine, hiss. You're such a wimp. Yeah, there you go. Anyway, well, whatever. All right. You know, once you let the pests, the rodents, the nasties into your house, they're hard to get rid of. And this goes for everything from fleas and ticks and rats and mice and even the family members, the freeloading family members that you don't want anything to do with. But you kind of have to deal with them because they're family. Well, that's sort of what the Democrats are finding out. Oh, yeah, illegal aliens, too. That's sort of what the Democrats are finding out. I got a couple of stories to tell you as to maybe the establishment Democrats are trying unsuccessfully. Now that they've created this coalition with these people, they were like, oh, crap. You know, it's sort of like if anybody remembers the 80s movie Gremlins, it's sort of like, you know, you have one gremlin, you put a little water on him, and then boom. Or never ever feed him after midnight, right? But you put a little water on him, and all of a sudden you now no longer have one gremlin, you've got 15. Mugwai, I think is what they call them. But anyway, that's what's happening. See, they opened up the door, the Democrats did. They opened up the door. They said, hey, we're doing this to allow people in because, you know, we're all part of the same family. We all want to destroy America. And now they're starting to realize that that might really actually hurt us. Like that noxious weed that you allow to live in your yard, and then all of a sudden your yard just starts multiplying with noxious weeds, and then next thing you know, your entire yard is covered in noxious weeds. You go to try and pull them out, you pull one out, and two more pop up in its place, and it keeps going. You know, it's a lot better not to let them in the door in the first place, but we'll see what happens. Anyway, all right, let's go ahead and get things kicked off. Tonight is Ms. T. Ms. T from over on Rumble Land is up for tonight's Pledge of Allegiance. She's over in the green room getting her vocal cords ready. So, if you are of mind, please stand, remove your hat if you're wearing one, like me. Place your hand over your heart and follow along with Ms. T as she recites the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. I thank you, Ms. T, for that wonderful rendition of the pledge. If you would like to hear your rendition of the pledge played here on the program, all you need to do is record yourself reciting or performing the pledge in your style. Take that audio file, video file, whatever kind of file attach it to an email and send it off to me. Send it to fans, F-A-N-S, at AmericanPerspective.online. That's fans, F-A-N-S, at AmericanPerspective.online, and I will get you into the rotation. I have 25 of these items. I'd like to get 26 before the end of 2026. So if you would, please, and you haven't already done so, get it in soon. And if you use your phone to record with, you can utilize the share option. That's the S-H-A-R-E option to share your file with me and send it off to fans, F-A-N-S, at AmericanPerspective.online, and I will get you into the rotation as quickly as possible. All right, tonight's headline sponsor is none other than, well, sometimes they pop up, right? And sometimes they don't. Just a second here. There we go. The American View. That's right. The American View is the corporation. The website address is pretty simple. TheAmericanView.com. Now, The American View is victorious. That's right. We've been around for 250 years. And The American View, the corporation, prepares the victors, formerly known as the Institute on the Constitution, which all of my Whiskey Warriors, P1s, know that they have been around for a very long time with this program. Well, let me tell you about them. The American View is an independent educational organization dedicated to the objective, textual, and historical study of the foundational documents of the United States. Utilizing a rigorous primary source methodology, our mission is to examine the original context, personal correspondence, legal frameworks, and this is important, Judeo-Christian philosophical traditions that guided the framers during the creation of the U.S. Constitution and the Bill of Rights by analyzing the specific scriptural citations, historical sermons, and biblical principles explicitly referenced in early American political discourse. We provide researchers, educators, and citizens with factual, unpoliticized baseline for understanding how theology and history intersected to shape the structural heritage of American liberty. That's right. If you want to learn, your best first place to go is to become a defender of truth, liberty, and God-given rights by taking their U.S. Constitution course. Now, keep in mind, people across America are concerned, as they well should be, if this invasion and influx of democratic socialists who are not democratic socialists, who are actually socialists, communists, Marxists, and Islamist extremists looking to do one thing, which is tear down this country. We got to start with the grassroots effort. Grassroots meaning we got to teach. We got to teach the American people who have not had this training about the greatest foundational document that has ever seen the light of day, that has ever been known to any man anywhere in the world. The document of freedom, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, none other than the U.S. Constitution, the foundational document for this great nation. And if you're wondering what you learn in the U.S. Constitution course, well, all you have to do to get your first lesson for free is head on over to theamericanview.com/study, and you'll be able to learn directly from the founders. You can start your constitutional journey by receiving Lesson 1 for free. Get your first name, last name, and email in these boxes, and then click this blue button where it says Get Lesson 1 free, and it'll be delivered directly to your email box. Learn at your own pace with the nationally recognized 100% online course. And then once you're done with all of that, you can take a look at their other courses and the other material and consider joining the community, whether you become a donator or sponsor or member, or even better yet, Take your newfound knowledge and expand. Leave a legacy. Go and restore the constitutional republic and prepare the future by hosting a course in your community. That's right. Become an instructor for the American View. It's time to lead. And becoming an instructor only takes 3 simple steps. You can learn about it by watching this video right here. And then once you're done watching that video, you can watch this video. 5 tips for a successful class. And believe me, they are not going to leave you hanging. They have a full-on instructor kit, which is a comprehensive resource crafted to empower individuals passionate about the Constitution to share its significance with others. And believe me, this instructor kit gives you everything that you need. Everything that you need in order to get classes going and everything else. So where do you get the instructor kit? Where do you get the instructor kit? Well, you head off to their shop. It's up in the upper right-hand corner. And once you are in their shop, you can see you can grab the Constitution course. You can grab other educational resources, self-evident apparel, instructor materials is where you would get that instructor kit. My personal favorite right above my head here is the Legacy Library. Leadies and gentlemen, the Legacy Library is filled with leather products. And I love my leather. That's right. Get the leather Declaration of Independence, Bill of Rights, Magna Carta, and the U.S. Constitution wall hanging. That would be 7 of these leather items that would be hanging. Oh, it would just be awesome. But I know not everybody is going to be able to pay that kind of money for those things, even though they're fantastic. Believe me. Start off with something that is pocket-sized, you can carry around with you wherever you go. Right here. The leather-bound U.S. Constitution. That's where you start here, folks. I'm telling you. This thing, according to G, is the American View utility belt is based on pocket constitutions. When faced with adversity, deploy yours today. Fashionable and deadly to liberals as well. As a part of that as part of that utility belt is the pocket constitution. Take a look at this thing. It's got 1/8 of an inch of Saddleback leather wrapped around pages that are water and tear resistant. No cheap glue here, folks. It is stitched all the way through. The leather and the pages contained within. It's got a 100-year warranty against materials and manufacturing defects, such that if you have a problem with this thing, you can send it back to the manufacturer, and they will either fix it or replace it for free. It is buddy tested, buddy approved, Billy tasted, Billy approved. My youngest whiskey warrior has confirmed the information contained within will help you to achieve your civics badge in Scouts, not to mention the fact that your civics exam and naturalization test, they all come here. It's a 3 for 1. Head on over to theamericanview.com. Go to their shop, go to their Legacy Library, and you'll be able to pick yours up today. And also, while you are there, check out all of the other fantastic informational articles, products, books, whatever. Go and do that. Head on over to theamericanview.com, and I thank The American View for being a sponsor of this program. All right. You know, I gotta tell you, that's probably the longest spot that I have in terms of my ad revenue. It's long, man. It takes me about 10 minutes to run through that. Even more. Anyway, it's worth it. It's worth it. All right, so let's talk about something that's breaking news. Breaking news. Trump has signed an executive order designed to curb birthright citizenship and target birth tourism. The new orders came after this last Supreme Court disastrous order in June that overturned the bid by Trump to restrict birthright citizenship on the grounds that it violated the 14th Amendment. It does. The idea that anybody can just come here and drop a baby, man, and that baby's automatically a U.S. citizen, that is not what the 14th Amendment and the the debates and everything else, and even historical documents have even pointed to the historical attitude of the American people, and the founders all point to. So, this rogue idiot called Chief Justice Roberts and his lackey, Amy Coney Barrett, and the three activists, not jurists on the court, went ahead and frickin' destroyed history. Anyway, Trump is trying to correct that problem. So he signed 2 executive orders today that will restrict automatic citizenship to children born in the United States because of commercial birth tourism and other factors. The Trump administration is banning birth tourism, practice of traveling to the United States on a tourist visa with the intention to have a child that is given automatic U.S. citizenship. Trump calls this a big deal and said birthright citizenship has been made into a joke during the signing ceremony. Now, I got to be honest with you, Trump actually does have the power to temporarily halt all of this. All he has to do is just say, hey, any alien women who are pregnant as of right now, or are even suspected of being pregnant, are not going to be allowed in this country, because he has that power under current immigration law. He can stop any alien or class of aliens coming into this country for any reason for as long as he wishes. So he already has it. He already has it. He has that power, but I'm kind of surprised that he hasn't done that yet. Probably thinks that it would more than likely get struck down. I don't know where this is going to go. It's more than likely going to get challenged in court almost immediately. So I don't know. Oh, this is so ridiculous. Yeah. So ridiculous, but whatever. This is the world that we live in today. Unfortunately. All right, well, in other breaking news, earlier today, the Senate panel voted to hold Fauci in contempt. Here's the problem. And honestly, I mean, we're in the same damn boat, regardless, whether it comes to the Save America Act, whether it comes to a act that, some type of bill or law that would block birthright citizenship or any of that stuff. We have the exact same problem across the board as this has. And even though the Senate panel has voted to hold Fauci in contempt, and even though Rand Paul has said, hey, I'm sending that over to the DOJ actually doesn't have to do anything with it. They really don't. And the reason being is because the entire Senate has not voted on this. Remember, this is just the panel. And the panel, by the way, had, I think it was a 8-5 vote or something. It's really performative. I mean, there's nothing to this, because if the entire Senate were to be called for a vote on this, it would face the filibuster, just like everything else does. And we don't have 60 votes. So, again, I mean, all of this is just to make everybody go, all right, great. And that's probably what Anthony Fauci was counting on when he started pleading the fifth. He didn't answer any questions. His pardon would have covered him, realistically, but he probably rolled the dice, and in this particular case, well, he may have won out of all this, which is pretty bad. I mean, honestly, it's really pretty bad. But anyway, they voted for the contempt charge. Again, I'm just going to point this out. If we actually had a Senate Majority Leader who had balls, No, John Thune does not have balls. But if we had one, okay, if we had one, he would just say, you know what, we're just going to do this. And if the Democrats want to filibuster, let them filibuster. I mean, it's not like we're getting anything done now anyway. So what's the difference? The filibuster goes on and on and on and on and on for months on end. Okay, fine. You guys aren't doing jack crap anyway. Who cares? I'm just, it's a waste. It's like, hey, we're already wasting our time because, you know, every time we turn around, the Democrats are stopping things. So, yeah. Anyway, I'm tired of this. I'm done with the rhino Republicans who are backing off, who are basically saying, hey, we don't want to be the bad guy. I don't care. I don't care. And in fact, you know, my buddy and I, Steven Stiles and I, we both have kind of the same attitude when it comes to this stuff. Just do it. It's right. It has to be done. Just do it. If they want to filibuster the SAVE Act, let them filibuster the SAVE Act. Don't give me this, oh, well, we don't have the votes to break the filibuster, so we're not even going to bring it to the floor. Bull crap. Put it on television. Let it run for 24/7. I guarantee you, if you broke in using the emergency broadcast system, broke into every single television station across the entire United States, I guarantee you all those homebound leftist lunatics who sit there salivating over the Kardashians, you know, voting for the people on American Idol, watching the soap operas during the day, they would eventually be lighting up the Senate switchboard. And by eventually, I mean after one day, they would be lighting up the Senate switchboard and telling them, hey, just vote for the goddamn thing so we can get back to doing what we want to do, which is, you know, faux worshiping of our Hollywood idols and icons. Seriously, that's how you do it. You want to get the American people behind something, man, interrupt their freaking View, daytime talk shows, whatever. It doesn't matter. Just interrupt all of that crap. Use the emergency broadcast system. Cover everything. We're talking radio, television, all of it. Just cover the entire thing. And be like, okay, the Democrats have an emergency message for everybody. And there you go. And just let that run and see how long it would take for all of the senators to A, lose their jobs, or B, get all kinds of hate mail. Yeah. See, even, I mean, I know I would piss off the matriarch of the WWP ones, you know, the Whiskey Warrior P1s, but there's your truth. Do not mess with my General Hospital or Young and the Restless. Yep. Well, there you go. And I'm telling you, I mean, I'm sorry. I would get a lot of people pissed off at you, but hey, whatever has to be done, damn it. We're saving America here. Anyway, I mean, shoot, even preempt me if it takes that. If it takes that, I'm fine with having a day or two vacation. Sure. I know it'll be unpaid, but whatever. Anyway. Oh, yeah. So, right. So basically, before it can be technically a true criminal referral, okay, the full Senate would have to agree before the Department of Justice would actually consider it as a full contempt of Congress thing. So, yeah, this ain't going anywhere. I mean, this ain't going anywhere. They can do it to frickin' Steve Bannon. They can do it to Lois Lerner, but they can't do it to the little gnome god. The little gnome god known as Doctor of Lies Fauci. Yeah. Well, speaking of Dr. Fauci lost. Well, I don't know if I don't think he had it because I don't think he's in charge of anything anymore. But this is one of the reasons why, if you're really going to do something, I mean, seriously, if you're really going to do something as stupid as writing in a diary, don't leave it on government servers, which is exactly what Fauci did. His diary, his personal diary, he put on government servers. The government copies everything, folks. It really does. It copies everything. And, yeah. Anyway, he had an iPhone. And that's been turned over to Senate investigators now. So it's going to be interesting to see if his iPhone has anything further on it than just his diary, his innermost personal thoughts on the fact that he did believe that it was a lab leak and that he may have had a myocardial infarction. You know. I mean, look, I'm just going to be honest with you. I can't be a criminal because I'm way too honest. I'm too much of a follower of the rules. I couldn't necessarily be a criminal, at least not in a regular way. But I can tell you this much right now, that if I were to do something criminal, number one, I wouldn't announce it to everybody. Number two, I would make sure that all of my tracks were covered. Yeah. So, I wouldn't leave stuff on a computer that is backed up to the cloud services that the government still has control over. I mean, come on, people. In today's day and age, you got to know everything is being tracked. Everything is being backed up. Everything is being monitored or whatever. I mean, the only private place you realistically have in this world is right up here in your head. And even that's questionable. There is a possibility that they actually have mind reading capability now. Whatever. Jump on into my mind. Believe me, it's a bit of a mess in there. Anyway, yeah, his iPhone got transferred. I'll get back on track here. His iPhone got transferred from the Department of Health and Human Services to the Senate Homeland Security Permanent Subcommittee on Investigation. Can we, shut down all of these freaking long-ass names? Anyway, a spokesperson for Senator Ron Johnson of Wisconsin, who's in charge of that committee, told Fox News Digital that the subcommittee obtained a copy of Dr. Fauci's iPhone that was used during his time at HHS. Now, whether or not the panel has access to the actual phone remains unclear. However, the committee's procurement of the phone, which was first reported by the Wall Street Journal, comes as they are, at this time, it was getting ready to vote and hold Fauci in contempt of Congress. Well, we already know the outcome of that. The committee did, but not the whole Senate yet. Anyway, yeah. You know, the sad part about all of this is they're doing all of this stuff, but realistically, until I see cuffs being slapped on these people and the perp walk into the federal penitentiary, the prison system, it means nothing. None of this means anything. And I have very, very little confidence in the ability of the federal government to actually do the perp walk. Now notice, I said the federal government. Federal government. We actually have a bit of a backup here. because Joe Biden pardoned Dr. Anthony Fauci. Joe Biden pardoned Dr. Anthony Fauci. Joe Biden, who was the president of the United States, which means that Anthony Fauci is essentially free from any federal prosecution for anything that might have come from the time that is within the time frame of the pardon, the auto pen pardon. Yeah, I know I keep saying the Biden pardoned him, but I mean, let's face it, they're not going to do anything about the auto pen either. I mean, if anything comes from any of this, just remember this one thing. The federal government is the most useless organization in this world because none of them actually do what they say they're going to do. None of them actually follow the true laws of this country. And none of the government entities can ever get anything right. They just can't. And you can sit there and say that, oh, my gosh, man, Rick is really on an anti-government rant. No, I'm not on an anti-government rant necessarily. I'm just pointing out the truth and the facts. Government should be very, very small and only involved in the absolute necessity items. Other than that, keep it the hell away from everything else. And that's what the Constitution basically says. And that's what the Constitution is supposed to be doing. But because the American people and the federal government and so on and so forth is, yeah, we've grown way outside the constitutional boundaries. Anyway, as I was saying, the federal government can't do anything, but there might be a light at the end of a tunnel. So now, Anthony Fauci has been subpoenaed by 3 separate state attorneys general for allegedly profiting off of the COVID-19 guidance that he was giving. And we already know that Florida put it in. And so now West Virginia Attorney General and Louisiana's Attorney General, they're all requesting, all 3 of them are requesting that Fauci hand over records that were generated between January of 2020 and August of this year. James Uthmeier, I think that's how it's pronounced, Uthmeier. He's the Attorney General for Florida. He stated in a statement, government officials have certain levels of immunity in their official capacities, but if Fauci personally profited off of the guidance that he issued, that very well could have broken Florida law. Fauci's diary focused more on self-promotion than the legitimate safety concerns from the mRNA vaccines. While Fauci was pushing for book deals, awards, fortune, and fame, Floridians were being deceived and harmed by his misrepresentations. Remember, Fauci is pardoned from federal crime. Fauci is not pardoned from state crime. For an example, from some of the earliest entries of his diary, he disputes the theory that SARS-CoV-2, which is the virus that caused COVID-19, originated in Wuhan, China's wet market, which he said publicly over and over and over that no, it actually jumped from animal to humans, and denounced everybody denounced everybody who proposed and agreed with, hey, look, this likely came from the lab. Yeah. So, yeah. I hope the states can do what the federal government refuses to do and won't, because this is utterly ridiculous. Now, according to some according to some of his diary entries, now that I'm kind of reading this to catch up real quick, the he also prided himself in the diary on his newfound notoriety and the pandemic, and privately quizzed colleagues about actual awards that he could apply for. For an example, a nearly $1 million Dan David Prize, which is affiliated with Tel Aviv University for his leadership during the pandemic. And that's according to emails that were released by Rand Paul. Uthmeier told Fox News' America's Newsroom on Wednesday, citing these emails, where he was asking, Fauci was asking subordinates to apply for the awards on his behalf. He's like, we're really focused on this self-dealing. Fauci's personal assistant cheered when he was awarded the Dan David Prize in April of 2021. Congratulations, you're rich, she wrote. Greg Fockers, Fauci's chief of staff, says, hey, I want my 15%. And by the way, that Fauci acknowledged receipt of the funds 1 month later. So Uthmeier has claimed that there were other rewards. He goes, offers of named professorships, book deals, board positions, private foundation partnerships, other professional and financial opportunities concurrent with his federal role and public recommendations impacting Florida are just part of the probe. Yeah. So, yeah, this may be the path forward for the Dr. Fauci. All right. Well, let me just say this. I don't think that the Democrats, excuse me for just a second. There we go. All right. I don't think that the Democrats realized that the Democratic Socialists of America and the Islamo-fascists that were running under the Democrat ticket, I don't think they realized what they were inviting into their quote-unquote big tent, according to Adam Schiff. And now, after the primaries are over with, and you have people like El Said, who beat the Democrat incumbent by just about 1% in Michigan, for an example, the Democratic establishment is like, oh, hell, what did we do? The Democratic establishment has decided to declare war on these Democratic Socialists of America. I mean, you've got people like, oh God, I can't even think of his name now. I can see his face. I hate this when this happens to me. But anyway, Pennsylvania, the Pennsylvania senator, anyway, I've lost him. But anyway, no, not Carville. No, the Pennsylvania senator, he, you know, the guy with that always wears the hoodies. He's wearing a suit now, by the way, which kind of means that he is, he's really serious now. But anyway, even he's running around. Yes, thank you, Fetterman. That's it. That's it, Fetterman. See, why can't I remember that name? I told you, I'm horrible with names. I'm great with faces. But anyway, you even have Fetterman running around saying, hey, you know what? I don't even want this guy in the party, meaning El Said. I don't even want, this other guy who's running around with El Said for it. I don't want any of those guys in the Hassan Piker. I don't want any of these guys in the party. Well, here's the thing. There was a piece in the New York Times that is showing that the moderate establishment is working on a plan to counteract the advance of these people. So some of the strategists early pressed to adopt a sharper edge to the top of the fury among Democratic voters that was felling its centrist candidates. Others wanted to attack democratic socialism directly, undercutting a budding movement now set to have far more than a toehold in the next Congress. Yet another Democrat socialist ousted an incumbent congressman in Detroit on Tuesday. Jonathan Cohen, the president of Third Way, which is a leading centrist Democratic group, revealed to the New York Times a $15 million effort between now and 2028 designed to discredit democratic socialism. He said, quote, "We are preparing for the next war that is coming." And it's not just him. It's not just him. Reports are that the establishment Democrats wasted a whopping $63.9 million trying to take down El Sayed. They were supporting Haley Stevens in the bid for the Michigan Senate nomination. And that 60 million, or almost 60 million, was apparently not enough. But these guys are starting to realize that, yeah, they're in some serious trouble here. But here's the problem. They already let the rats into the building. And so now they got to go and trap them all and everything else. And trust me, when you're dealing with pests, the minute you see one, there's 100 of them behind them that you don't see. Okay? I guarantee you. Now, Stevens, let's see. According to the company that did a summary of the race, they said Stevens seen a majority of ad support targeting the primary. In total, 70% of all spending targeted the primary went towards supporting Haley Stevens. Her opponent, El Sayed, had seen only 7.5 million in ad support. And prior to dropping out, McMorrow only saw 9 million in support. But here's the problem. Here's the problem. El Sayed is backed by other people as well. Abdul El Sayed was backed by dozens of members of a group that have alleged terror ties. Fox News Digital identified nearly 41, or at least 41 donors that are linked to a group named the Holy Land Foundation, and that these people raised for him over $100,000. Now, that doesn't sound like a whole hell of a lot, but again, keep in mind, they, every little bit counts. El Sayed collected more than $115,000 from individuals who work for or have held leadership roles with the Council on American Islamic Relations, which is a front group for the Muslim Brotherhood, that has also been designated a terrorist organization by the United Arab Emirates and formally designated or labeled as such in both Florida and Texas. So, yeah. Fox News Digital found that El Sayed, who made a, quote, getting money out of politics a part of his central campaign rallying cry, he actually accepted donations from those people. The donor list includes several of CARE's highest ranking officials. Yeah, and there's a list of them here. So, yeah. By the way, his father-in-law is a CARE Michigan board member, by the way. And his father-in-law has been one of the largest financial backers of the super PAC that is supporting El Sayed's campaign. I thought this guy came from, like, working class Americans. Nope. He apparently is very well off. There's also part of the funding committee, his father-in-law is also part of the funding committee for the Islamic Society of North America, which is a group that is connected to Hamas and the Muslim Brotherhood, according to the Washington Free Beacon. There's another donor from CARE who was listed in FEC records under a different name, and he drew national condemnation after saying he was happy to see Hamas break out of Gaza on October 7th, and argues continually that Israel does not have the right to self-defense as an quote-unquote occupying power. This is who these people are partnering with, folks. The Democrats are partnering with these people. They're partnering with these people. They're partnering with these people. We're at a crossroads, like I said last night. We are at a crossroads. We are seeing today the culmination of a very long list and long takeover of these pests, these rodents getting into America. And yes, I am calling them that because that's exactly what they are. All they want to do is destroy the foundation of America, what America has been built on. They want to destroy it. They want to get rid of it. They want to get rid of America and how it works and how it stands for freedom, liberty. Now, one other organization. Now, Hollywood, I'm going to tell you, Hollywood would never make any kind of a movie, especially right now. Shit, they barely made Top Gun Maverick, where it had to be against some sort of an unnamed enemy. They didn't even show any of the enemies that were there because they didn't want to suggest what the enemy would be. In fact, even when they did Red Dawn, they had to, kind of water down everything. It couldn't have been a coalition like the Warsaw Pact kind of idea. But that being said, there is a company out there that is making movies that really, really can affect these things. Now, I know a lot of people are not all that interested in the Daily Wire necessarily because of Ben Shapiro, but I can tell you that outside of what you think of Ben Shapiro, I can tell you they have produced some really, really good stuff. If anybody has actually seen the movie Run, Hide, Fight by them, which is a movie based about a hostage takeover of a school, okay, and a young actress did a really good job here, but a young actress acts as the heroine of the story and takes down the the perpetrators in this school situation. Well, that was done very, very well. And now, on September 16th, the Daily Wire is going to release the next installment of the Run, Hide, Fight universe. I want to show you the official trailer that was released today. And you tell me, is this a movie that you're going to want to watch? I know I already have my decision on that. Take a listen.
Your country is beneath contempt.
We who love and serve Allah fought back against the Americans and the Zionists from the scourge of secularism and the lands of unbelief.
Anyone gonna listen to Captain Saunders tomorrow? The retired Delta Force soldier with a new book out.
He's the polar opposite of those brain-dead protesters.
Given the current climate, should Clay Saunders even be allowed on campus?
Mr. Saunders is a close personal friend of Chancellor Friedman. This is a decision I cannot fight.
There are 3 ways Islam will conquer the West. Through immigration, through the wombs of our women, and by using our nation's freedoms against us. Are you paying attention?
Listen carefully. The great Satan, America, will fall. You are infidels. The bodies of women are not pure, and the men's souls are unclean.
What makes them so dangerous? Their goals are not in this life, but the next.
Anyone? I got friends here. I can't just leave.
Listen to me! In the law. We cannot run or hide from what is coming. We have to fight.
I will be rewarded 10,000 times in the next life. When you die, you're nothing. Only one way to find out.
That's the American way.
So the movie is called Run, Hide, Fight, Infidels. And it premieres from the Daily Wire on September 16th. Folks, even just looking at the trailer, there's so much honesty right there in the trailer. The guy is basically telling you, the main character, who's at a speech in the beginning, he tells you exactly what is going on. Exactly. And he said it's a 3-step plan. You're seeing it right now. If there is ever a movie that is apropos to today's world, right here on this Run, Hide, Fight, Infidels. I'm just telling you, man. I'm excited to see this. I'm excited to see it. Anyway. All right, let's move on to a couple more articles really quick as we wrap up today. I didn't really necessarily talk about this yesterday, but apparently some newly unclassified documents are demonstrating that the FBI probed President Donald Trump's termination of James Comey. And they did it because they essentially felt that Donald Trump was a Russian plant. Seriously, this is all based off of that now debunked Steele dossier funded by the Clinton administration. Now, the documents that were declassified by the White House task force on August 5th, they refer to Trump's firing of FBI Director James Comey on May 9th in 2017. In one of the documents, the FBI stated that it was opening an investigation based on an articulatable factual basis that reasonably indicates that President Donald Trump may be or has been, wittingly or unwittingly, involved in activities for or on behalf of the government of the Russian Federation, which may constitute violations of federal criminal law or threats to the national security of the United States. The goal of the investigation was to determine whether or not President Trump is or was directed by, controlled by, and or coordinated activities with the Russian Federation in a manner constituting, I should say, a threat to the national security of the United States and or a violation of federal criminal statutes. Folks, seriously. If you don't think the deep state, or at least a cabal of people on the left who want to, again, keep in mind, again, this is not fantasy. This is what's happening here. I am no longer speaking conspiracy theories. I am literally telling you the information that is being uncovered here, and this is just absolutely amazing. The fact that the current president was being investigated by an FBI cabal that essentially has been looking at the government as a thing to be taken down and eliminated, which is essentially what all of this is. I mean, if you don't think that we're in a potential war, I mean, it's not even potential anymore. If you don't think that we're in a war right now with the rest of the world, with evil factions that want to destroy America because of what America represents, I don't know what to tell you. I think you better go and stick your head back in the sand and wait for everything to be over, like an ostrich. I mean, this is just incredible. And to sit here and think that James Comey got fired, and then he's not going to have any kind of a repercussion for his 8647 crap. Yeah. Folks, we are in an existential crisis here in America. We need to wake the hell up, because we've allowed the rats to enter. We've allowed the pests to enter the house. And we've allowed them to silently eat away at America's foundation. And pretty soon, even the Orkin Man isn't going to be able to save us. Period. Alrighty, folks. That is it for me for this evening. Do me a favor. If you haven't already, head on over to rumble.com. Get yourself an account. It is free. And once you are signed up and signed in, make sure that you search up the American Perspective channel and hit that green follow button to get notified every time that I go live. Also, too, don't forget to go and check out my new streaming platform, pilled.net. That's PILLED.net. Go and check it out. And maybe even sign up yourself. So, before you take off, though, I would appreciate either a red pill on Pilled, a thumbs up, or a thumbs down, or in the case of 3 Chevy, a thumb sideways or at an angle across all of my platforms, whether it's X, YouTube, Facebook, or, of course, the aforementioned Rumble. We will see you tomorrow night, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on American Perspective. Have a great rest of your evening, and good night, everybody.